going to be talking about 3D printing today. I think it's a fascinating topic. Let's start by talking about what 3D printing is. You should have read this in your homework for today. Anyone? How about you, Mike?
Well, 3D printers are a kind of hardware. Basically, they're like regular printers since they work with electronic files. But these printers can take electronic design files and turn them into physical objects, like a ball, a statue, machine parts. So, with 3D printers, people can use computers to turn electronic designs into real physical things. What else? Oh, the 3D stands for three-dimensional. You know, length, width, and depth. Those measurements are what make the actual shape.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. So now, what do we mean when we talk about 3D electronic design files? What kinds of files can be used, and how do we make them? Can someone help us out? Okay, Sheila, tell us what you know about that.
Well, you can create 3D electronic files in a lot of ways. Some 3D files are made in a way similar to regular design files. You just use a CAD program to draw an object in 2 dimensions with lines and then change the design to 3D.
And CAD, or CAD, stands for?
Oh, it means computer-aided design.
Right. Yes, that's one way to make 3D designs. Design in 2D on a computer and then convert the file to 3D. How else can we make them?
Well, there are other programs too. Like you design in 3D and you build things from the bottom up. You know, like you're working with virtual building blocks.
Yes, good.
I also think there are some CAD programs where you can make a drawing on paper and then scan it and convert it to 3-dimensional design.
Right, that's correct. There are lots of different methods for creating 3D designs, but basically they all have one thing in common. They allow the user to build an object digitally in a virtual 3D workspace. Now, CAD is nothing new. It's been around since the 80s. In fact, a lot of the things you have in your home probably spent some period of their development as a CAD drawing. Your phone, your TV, even your car. So the use of CAD is quite common. But the revolutionary thing nowadays is that we can make the design become an actual object in 3D. We can make something abstract into a real thing. Now designers can see how a product is really going to look, and from all angles. Unlike building design models by hand, which took a lot of time and a lot of money, this idea is simple. Now, a 3D printer can do it at the click of a button. Both methods work well, but a 3D printer can do the job much more cheaply and in less time. But now, let's think about it. How simple is it really? Does anyone know how these machines actually work? How do they make these 3-dimensional objects? What do you remember from your reading?
It's not like traditional sculpture. With that, you chip away at a big block of stone or something. Whereas with 3D printing, it's more like the object is built up. The process is called additive manufacturing. Instead of cutting away to make a shape, the machine actually adds layers of materials to make the object. So if you cut the object in half, you would see that it's made up of thousands of very thin layers. You can do it with lots of different materials. Metal, paper, stuff like that. My roommate got one for a design class. It uses plastic. It lays down layer after layer of plastic in different sizes until you get a shape. It's pretty cool.
Really? What kinds of things does your roommate make? Does she just make objects, or can she make things that work, like a lamp or something?
Well, she's never tried to make a lamp that's functional, but I don't think you can make things that really work yet. You could probably make a lamp shade or maybe the base. She's only been doing basic things like boxes and balls. But I heard these kinds of printers are now in the early stages of making circuitry that actually works. You know, electrical parts in a phone or a computer.
That's right. These printers are already able to make working devices with moving parts, like a pizza cutter with a moving wheel. Eventually, they should be able to create both the outer and inner workings of things. So a 3D printed bicycle would come off the printer ready to be ridden.
Wow. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So let's get back to talking about 3D printers. As I was saying, these machines may one day be able to make more 3D printers.
So they'd reproduce themselves? Sounds like a science fiction story.
Yeah, it does sound kind of unreal, but there's even more to it. Think about what you could do with a 3D scanner and a 3D printer. In the same way that you can scan documents to a computer, you can also scan objects to a 3D printer.
Wow, so if you scanned a phone, the printer could create the exact same phone?
Well, it probably wouldn't be a working phone yet, because a scanner wouldn't be able to scan the inner circuits. But yes, the technology is moving in that direction. Eventually, we could make a replica of that phone, an exact copy.
So I could scan a chair and make another chair?
Yes. And you would also have an electronic copy of that chair. So you could make it again and again, send it to other people, or post it online.
Wow, that's hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's going to take time for people to get used to the possibilities. There are actually already programs that can turn smartphones into functional 3D scanners. You can use your phone to create electronic images of basically any object. Another area that will likely expand with 3D printers is customization. You know, making special products for particular needs. We'll no longer have to manufacture thousands of exactly the same product. In fact, conversely, we'll be able to make small changes to each electronic file to make a product just right for every customer.
So, I could special order my next computer keyboard to be designed exactly for my hands.
Yes, that's the right idea. Customize everything. A final advantage of 3D printers would be in something called collaboration and purchasing. Product designers can already use the internet to work closely with product makers virtually anywhere on Earth. With 3D printers, when the product is finished, a customer in yet another place could customize it exactly to their needs, then order it and get the electronic file for it in a few seconds. They would just print it out and use it. No waiting for delivery, no shipping, nothing. You've got it right now.
Amazing. I bet there's all sorts of uses for that.
There are. One of the most interesting applications is in the visual arts. Nowadays, artists are as interested as technical designers in using this type of technology. Let's talk a bit more about that.